All right. So it's an exciting day, everyone. It's going to be fun. And we're again very thankful for you supporting our new content here on YouTube, The Australian Filipina. We are going to have one great lady who has been changing the mindset of a lot of people. Before, she captured our hearts when she competed in the 2003 Miss World representing the Philippines. Now, she's doing one person at a time and helping them capture the world through the efforts of being the best version of themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mafae Yunon-Belasco. Yay!
Hello. Hi,
Hey,
Chi. How are
Mafae.
you?
How are you
Thank you.
today?
I am great. Thank you so much for having me here. Alam mo naman, my first term or second term, or my heart. I left my heart in Sydney and Australia, and I'm just so grateful that I'm able to connect and inspire your community on here on your beautiful platform. Talking about the present, I am very grateful and blessed to be a mother of six. And I truly believe the reason why I do what I do is really for them. I live by actions speaks louder than words. And through my leadership, through my inspiring and motivating others, I want my children to grow up also being a leader themselves. You know, we are put on her earth for a purpose, or the world rather, and leaving a legacy where you can make an impact on another person's life is my greatest passion. And of course, I'm very God fearing. My faith is number one. And that was instilled in me by my parents. I'm truly grateful for them. And speaking of my parents, they were the ones that brought us to Australia, made that sacrifice, worked so hard to be where they are now. And I wouldn't be the woman that I am today if I didn't witness what they went through, right? I want to live my life touching many, many hearts, making sure that I put a smile on someone or another person's face each day. And these titles are just a bonus. But for me, being in the pageant industry or just having that passion on empowering the youth and making sure that they are a better version of me or a better version of themselves. I basically learned from, of course, my aunt. I also have to thank my aunt, Desiree Verdadero, who was also a Binibini Pilipinas Universe in 1984. And she guided me and pretty much shared with me that enjoy the moment, right? Kasi isa lang babae to wear that flag or our country on our chest. So
Correct.
number one, have fun, meet people. I think that's what maybe we can talk about later. The challenges right now is what is your life after the pageant? Hindi lang pwede puro Instagram post.
Mhm.
You need to connect. You need to network. Because you just never know where your fellow candidates will be. Will they be CEOs in the future? Will they be business owners? Or, of course, na yon, yung mga fellow candidates ko sa Miss World, we're all mga nanay na kami. We still are so very close. Because during that time, we spoke to each other. We got to know each other behind the scenes. Hindi lang, oh, picture lang tayo so we can show everybody na friends tayo. No, you can still do that, but the authentic connections are the important ones. Just like here, I'm so happy na, we were connected, Chi, and of course, your platform. I'm super grateful for the possibilities, the future opportunities. And yun talaga yung tiniteach ko, na your relationships are very important.
Yeah, and I can see now, well, you are just so positive, and I think you can credit that to a very good foundation growing up.
Yeah.
I was very much surprised during the research when I found out that you
Mhm.
had you had a grueling time growing, leaving the Philippines and living
Yes.
in Sydney. Um,
Mm-hmm.
looking back at those times from where you
Yes.
are right now,
Mm-mm.
what do you feel? And did you have that moment in your life that you were looking at certain parts of your home and you just wish that something would change?
Yes. I mean, I felt in my heart there was more to what I was supposed to do. You know, And you know, like your beautiful background. I sat in Circular Quay because I when I graduated, I worked for a bit to save up because I had a goal, right? But I was still unsure. I would sit on Circular Quay looking at the beautiful opera house and the harbor bridge. And I was talking to myself, do I leave you? Do I go back to the Philippines and join the pageant? But I also have to thank the Miss Philippines Australia, the PASC we were talking about kanina. Without that experience, without me knowing the impact of a crown and a sash, I was able to talk to people in power, decision makers, to create events or even fundraisers to help our fellow Filipino here in the Philippines. And when I was brought there, because it was part of my winning, I saw the need. I saw that the Philippines needed me here, right? And looking back, it was the best decision I could ever make. I would not meet the man of my dreams. I would not have the beautiful children I have now. I would not have the story to tell. And that's another favorite workshop that I do is sharing that your image is your message. Kasi lahat tayo may story tayo eh. It's just a matter, are you willing to share that or are you going to be somewhat selfish and keep it to yourself? Kasi the youth needs us. Even the young at heart needs to hear our story so that they can be motivated, especially right now. Diba? Ang dami nahihirapan.
But was it all glamorous from the get go, from leaving the Philippines to Sydney?
Mhm.
People think that when you're in another country, you are living the life. Was it that
Right.
for you?
No way. Alam mo naman, everybody sees the finishing touch, right? But all the behind the scenes, all the sacrifice, all the hard work that you see, off cam. Just like, for example, Heidelin Diaz. Do you think that she was perfect to win the gold for the Philippines, the first female to win a gold for us? Hindi, that's years of training, preparation. For me, I truly believe moving to Sydney and everything I experienced there was training for me to be independent, to be responsible for my own actions, to understand relationships. Kasi alam mo naman, Aussies, we love to talk. We love to just meet people. Even if you just go to the coffee shop or the bar, all of a sudden the person sitting next to you, best friend mo na. you
True.
know that's not like how we are in the Philippines. There is a different culture. So me coming from Australia here, I was in culture shock because as an Aussie Filipina girl, everybody I want to be friend. Dito hindi ganyan eh. You kind of have to understand who you're speaking to, may level pa na respect, ma'am, sir, di ba? So for me, I relearned my culture. I relearned how to build relationships here. You can't just say what you feel, diba? You have to be careful on who you speak to because it's word of mouth. And that's what I love to teach young people. Yes, you have freedom of speech, but do you want to have a longevity career? Kasi people talk. It's about your reputation. It's about how you carry yourself. Hindi pwede lang, hindi eh. Kasi I have this experience, so you should hire me. No. Kahit ako, I started from the bottom. And I keep reinventing myself.
Yeah.
I understand where respect is needed. Of course, I also not demand it, but share that I deserve the respect too.
What was your family's role in
Mhm.
creating a good foundation for you as a young person growing in Australia?
Right. Well, first and foremost, I mentioned kanina, faith. I saw my parents pray the rosary every day, every night. You know, we would have rosary in every single house that we were in. My dad will build a grotto from scratch. We will have an altar in our house. And of course, as a young person, I'm like, again, we have to do this again. But then growing up, I saw the blessings come in. I saw how my parents worked hard at the same time, was grateful. Kahit simple lang yung beginnings namin sa Australia. And then just seeing everything blossom. Up until this day, I'm also instilling this in my children. But of course, not as strict. I modernized it a bit kasi alam mo naman mga youth, you can't force them to do something. You can guide them. You have a relationship with God. It's up to you, how you speak to them, because you can speak to him as a friend. So that's how my husband and I have modernized, you know, our faith. And then at the same time, it's just respecting others. When you do good in the universe rewards you tenfold. Being kind is it's not even a rule. It's just a way of living. We all have off days. So if you are frustrated, you are angry, go have a timeout for yourself. You deserve it. You cannot point the fingers. You know what they say? You point one finger, the rest of your fingers is pointing back at you. So your decisions, your opinions, it is always know that there is going to be a result. So what kind of result do you want? Do you want a positive one or do you want a negative one? Right?
There's
We're
always
all humans.
participation. What participation
Yes,
did you provide in some in the things that you do, and what was your responsibility, right? So
exactly.
that's a very wow. I can just imagine because your children,
Yes.
I can't even wrap my mind around it that you have 6 kids, but you are
Yes.
still wonderfully, I mean, together. I mean, how if that's already a feat. Do
Yes.
you think that your discipline, your focus, and your
Mm.
mindset comes from the fact that you were an athlete first before a
Oh,
beauty?
yes. Yes. And I have to thank my dad for that because he really introduced so many sports to me so that I won't be distracted by the opposite sex or parties or whatnot. And it was amazing, what my parents blessed me with. Sport has really brought me so much goodness, my core values. Playing tennis was my first love. I played tennis for almost 18 years of my life in Australia. And I started late. That's why I didn't really, pursue the pros, but I was blessed enough to experience competition, understanding how I need to be disciplined within myself, with my nutrition, with my health. Because being an athlete, of course, it's ibang level yan if you really want to make it to the next level. And the friends I met there were also in the same realm mindset, is getting better at our craft in tennis. And when you're on the court by yourself, ikaw lang nandun eh. So it's up to you whether you initiate the opportunity to win that point or you just let the tennis ball pass you by and just be lazy. And that's where I actually, when I teach and motivate others, I always use my experience playing tennis as my way of how I was built, of my journey. Because being an athlete, you can be very competitive. You can have so many emotions, but how do you balance that? I always tell my kids, nga, I was like, you guys are lucky. Because now I understand meditation, I understand self-care, I understand nutrition. Before I was like eating whatever I wanted. So for them, if they wanted to go the athlete route, they have all the tools because we're sharing it with them. Especially Nick, being a professional athlete here in the Philippines, also was able to represent the Philippines in the Gilas. He understands now what he could have done better to be, I guess, a better athlete. So our kids are very lucky for all the tools that we're sharing with them, and I'm just so excited to see them, grow up in their own personal growth. They're all really great kids. I'm so thankful for that, and just everything I do, and I know I can speak for my husband. Everything we do, everything we say, everything that our thoughts is because of them you know, yun na eh. Alam mo naman, when you become a parent, yung mga
Yeah.
anak mo talaga yung priority sa
It's
buhay.
very interesting that your children now are part of your company, and they help you with
Yes.
what you do, which is really, really, really inspiring. I mean, how do
Mm.
you do that before you?
Eh lahat, alam mo naman when we were young, right? We're all creatives. It's just maybe our parents or society will guide us, oh hindi, mag-doctor ka, mag-nurse ka, mag-lawyer ka, di ba? But we were actually born creatives. And so I wanted to empower my children by creating a platform. Ako din, frustrated artist, frustrated singer, frustrated actor, di ba? So the reason why I wanted to create Mafae Management Consultancy is for my kids to empower them as creatives. I have a musician, I have a journalist, a photographer, my eldest son. And my daughter, obviously, she loves also art, and just instilling in them reality of
Mhm.
the corporate world, of how to deal with people, how to manage, how to lead. Yun na yung experience nila na yun, apart from what they're doing. The kids were homeschooled for a long period of time. My daughter has been homeschooled ever since the beginning. So this is part of their street smart learning, and my daughter writes, she knows how to write minutes. She takes minutes in a meeting. She is able to also public speak. Lahat naman sila. I've been really guiding them on doing speeches so that they can be comfortable. It's
You've,
also
you've
training
actually,
of,
yeah, you've
uh
actually brought up a corporation,
yeah.
a family
I'm just being
corporation.
intentional of what I've learned,
Yeah,
and
and that's pretty good and inspiring. So let's have something for the pageant fans. Uh,
sige.
let's go back to
Mm-mm.
those to well, you won Miss Philippines Australia in 1998, and that
Mhm.
actually fueled all the things that happened to 2003.
Yes.
Right. Can you tell us your experience during that time as a young woman,
Mm-mm.
experiencing pageantry on a very large scale?
Well, if I rewind a little, of course, I wanted to follow my aunt's path. I wanted the universe crown, but of course, that was not my, you know, the, the the journey I was supposed to take. And forever grateful, I was sent to Miss World because not only was it an amazing experience, my first time in China, and it was the first time in um, Sanya for Miss World, and China just welcomed us with open arms and just toured us all over China. We were on a plane literally every other day, and if you see my Facebook, you'll see all the photos that I was able to take. So I have to plug also Kodak during that time for sponsoring me that amazing camera that I was able to flip to take that selfie with Jackie Chan.
Oh,
So
that's the
imagine,
question I want to ask.
yeah, right. And just looking back, for me, yes, I wanted to bring home the first Miss World crown, but at the same time, I really absorbed every experience. My first time under the snow on the Great Wall. I mean, what kind of like feeling is that? Parang ano parang movie,
Yeah.
you know. And just learning from the girls, and I was able to also be um, was close friends with Miss China, and she taught me more Mandarin. I only knew the basics, and
Wow.
just being present.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. If you overthink, overwhelm yourself, then mabilis yung oras eh. All of a sudden, blink of an eye, pageant night na.
Yeah.
So
So,
so I have so many really clear experiences there.
so I noticed these are the things that I noticed. One, you looked so relaxed. It was such a different take from the queens that I've seen in the past with the big
Yes.
hair, curly whatever, and everything is so numbered. You were just so relaxed. It was just like you're visiting a friend's house, but your kilowatt smile did win everyone in I
Mm.
guess in Sanya and everyone watching that pageant. What was your mindset during that time? Was it did you decide did you decide that
Mm.
that's how you want to play it, that's how you want to present yourself, because we all know the grueling training that goes
Right.
prior to you
Yes.
flying out.
Yes. And forever grateful I am for Stella Arneta. Of course, she's my ninang, and we've just have a close bond. But before that, we had a run in because I really wanted to train. I wanted to have, back-to-back training. Who's going to mentor me? And back then, we had transitions of mentors and, just things happening in Binibini. So, there was a miscommunication where Stella thought I wasn't training, but actually I was really initiating the gym training with my aunt and all her amazing friends, Marilyn Espino, Jem Padilla,
Wow.
Abigail Arenas, and Marina Benapayo. They were all supporting me in behind the scenes. And when Stella confronted me and said, "Why are you not training?" I'm like, I have been asking, the office, what's my schedule. I said, I do want to win this. And so when she saw that fire, she just really was like, okay, you're a player. So meaning to say, she always shares with the queens, are you a player or are you there on vacation? So it's like the same as being an athlete. Are you there to compete and win gold for the country, or are you there just for the
Sightseeing.
moment? You know, to be honest, I was there for both, right? I was the only Filipina representing the Philippines in the Miss World pageant 2003. And that's what I always share with girls I train before they leave. And I get goosebumps because imagine that was your purpose. That was the legacy that you're supposed to achieve or experience. So for me, yes, I was going to absorb, I was going to play the game, I was even going to be rebellious a little bit and not follow the flow on the attire per day. And I did that cheat because I
and
wanted to win so badly,
and you had a
you
very
know?
interesting long gown.
Yes.
It's different from what we pageant fans have seen in the past years. It was daring and yet very
Mm-mm.
simple and subtle, and yet there were really some surprises, like there was more leg than usual. Did you see that?
Well, it was my personality. There was three gowns that we were going to choose from, and red is my favorite color. And of course, red is also a good luck color in China. So it was a win-win. When as soon as I put that on and then I saw the shoes, I was like, this is it. And Karen, my mare, Karen Augustine Austria, who was Binibini Universe 2002, she was there with me. A whole week before I left for Miss World, because we stayed in Araneta Coliseum. For the people that don't know, there's rooms up there
Yeah.
that beauty queens used to stay in, even back in early 80s, or 70s. So had such an amazing time. And, I was just looking at all my things. I was like, I guess I was just grateful because I would not achieve what I achieved without the support of Binibini Pilipinas, without PASC, without Agumang Kamampangan, who was my association with my dad and the fellow Kapampangans, and every moment I will not forget the people who supported me. And that's what lit the fire in my heart. And at the same time, made me understand, because there were moments in China that I would catch myself by myself. Everybody's there, but I would catch myself by myself. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. And I look at my chest and it says Philippines. I'm like, wow, it's me. You know, I have to cherish these moments. I will be one day telling my kids about this, which I do now, which is, it gives me happy tears because I know they also want to strive to represent the country. It's always been my dream, whether it be sports. Never, never was it in my list that I was going to represent the country in the pageant.
In the
Because
pageant,
tomboy
yeah.
ako. I was an athlete. I was a tomboyish. I was not like okay, makeup, lipstick, heels. That's why me now. And if you see my young photos, I was like that girl, like I was going to that.
It sometimes becomes a problem because when the mother has a very big personality, she's a she's an icon, and you're very you've done so much in your life
Mm,
that sometimes they feel that they have to crawl into their corner
their shell. Right,
because
right.
they just don't want to be compared to you. How do
Mm-mm,
you now use your positivity
mm-mm.
in changing that, or have you experienced that in raising
Yes.
children?
Well, apart from me, they have their dad also.
Of
So
course.
my children have always been receiving comments. They've always been, judge, o bakit hindi ka matangkad, matangkad yung tatay mo, or are you basketball player, and this and that. And the main focus that I love about my family, that we're very open. We have family meetings. We talk about this. We allow our children to share their feelings, and we tell them, hey, you are your own person. Regardless of what dad and I have done in our lives, yes, it could be inspiration for you, it could be motivation for you, but guess what? We love you and we are a family, and whatever you want to do, we will support you. Don't listen to the noise, don't listen to, people comparing this and that. Ganyan lang ang mga tao.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy that they have the trust in us and gain the confidence on pursuing what they want to do. And they know this. I throw them in the fire to
Mhm.
build that confidence. I put them out there. Especially my eldest son, siya yung guinea pig. Palagi naman yung eldest guinea pig, di ba? Ako yung eldest, so
How did you
I'm guilty of that.
do
He
that?
loves photography.
Yeah.
And I was also an events organizer. So, there was a chance for him to speak about photography to people who are just learning. Sabi ko, gawin mo yan. Do it. And he has all his equipment. He knows what he said, but of course, first time, yeah.
Mhm.
And he wasn't understanding whether the people were absorbing his learnings, or do they look like, oh, why is this young kid talking to me? And he doesn't mind me talking about this because he is now his own man. He's got his own podcast. He speaks in so many events, motivating the youth. So I'm really proud of him. But that learning right there, if we do not push our children to just experience it and be there to support, then they will not understand that kaya ko pala. He cried. He cried after that speak because he thought that they didn't like his talk. But he didn't realize there was people waiting for him to take a photo with him. So I said, "Hey, do you think that I'm always perfect when I host? Hindi, no. It's experience. I also mess up, but you don't know it. So you have to have that confidence. Kasi ikaw yung expert there. In people's eyes, you're the expert. So make them believe. And you're also human. If you make a mistake, okay lang yan. It's part of life. You learn from your mistakes. And one of my mentors shared that with me. When you take a loss, it's not a loss; it's a lesson. And to learn. So for everybody who's listening right now,
Pretty
okay
good.
lang.
Yeah.
You move on.
Yeah,
You
that's
learn from that and you move on. To add to that, and that's the reason also I mentor other beauty queens. Because your reign, it doesn't stop when you pass on the crown. Actually, that's when the work begins. The harder
true.
work.
Yeah.
How do you keep the relevance of the platform that was given to you during your title to keep giving back? And for me, I'm so blessed, because I do have the confidence and the thick skin to reach out to people nonstop. And imagine now, online tayo, I was able to create the online pageant with Kumu. If you've heard of Kumu app,
Yes.
I'm also the regional head for Australia Kumu because I want to build that bridge. And offline, we were talking about how do we touch young hearts. Ito na yun eh, you have to adapt, right? Kung online pageant yan, I can touch the whole world. Kasi anyone can join. So just to give you some excitement, I was able to build an online pageant, Miss Kumu Global 2021, which was held June 1st. June 1st ba? Or May? May yata.
Yeah, which
And
is very
then,
relevant now that pageants are
yeah,
going online too.
right. And we were able to support Mano Amiga. We raised almost 80,000 pesos for them, being online lang. And then we just completed Mr. Kumu Global. And I had candidates in Greece, in
Wow.
Oman, in
Wow.
Australia, one in Australia. And how is that possible? Everything's possible. And our partner there was Best Buddies Philippines. So with the people I've met, with the people that I've connected with, I'm able to bring them on board with this. And so maybe Chi, you can help me out. In November, I'm launching naman Miss Teen.
Oh,
So that's my last pageant for this year on
let's
Kumu.
see. I'm sure I
Yes.
can do something for you or for
Uh-oh.
this new effort. This is pageantry is very exciting. It's very Philippine. You
Yes.
know, there are the three B's:
Yes.
basketball, boxing, and beauty pageants, right?
Yes.
So, being a queen yourself, how would you
Mm-mm.
compare competing in a beauty pageant now? Because
Yes.
you were never away from the
Mm-mm.
scene. You've always
Right.
been supporting, helping, training, and
Mm-mm.
you yourself have seen the pageant grow and change, etc. How, from your point of view, how has it
Mm-mm.
changed, and how are you adapting to it?
A lot has changed, of course. It was hard back when I was competing, and it's also a challenge now. It's a different challenge, of course, because not only do you have social media or online presence to balance your mindset, avoid reading negative comments and things like that. You have to really be strong enough to understand why you're doing this. It's a given now. Once you say yes, once you sign that you want to be official candidate, now you're open book. It's open seasons for everyone to talk about you, to promote you, to uplift you, or to want to collaborate with you. So you're saying yes to all of that. If you're ready for that, then do it. But if you're not, maybe you still need to build your well-being, and that's another factor that I've also gained on my title list is being a life coach, being a well-being boost facilitator. I have given those tools. Like currently right now, I'm a personality development director for Miss World, and alam mo naman na delay na naman yung pageant nila, so I'm really supporting their well-being right now. We're meeting every like twice a week so that I can make sure that they're okay during this time. Kasi mahirap yan. You all of a sudden your adrenaline is up, and then sasabihin sa'yo, we don't know when the pageant night will be.
Yes.
So what do you do? Do you go back to work? Do you keep promoting online? Or do you really empower your advocacy? Ano ba talaga? So for me, it's me guiding them na you're not alone. Everybody's going through that. And then going back to when I competed with no social media, maybe we had the blog sites,
Mhm.
and I thank all the supporters there because I also was able to be inspired. Kahit good or bad was said, it's like, oh, they're talking about me. So when you really have that kind of mindset, alam mo, you're doing something powerful with a purpose.
Yeah.
So
Mindset is
stay strong. Oo, mindset is definitely key. Kasi easily ka-influence eh. And that's why I also share, like, my favorite song is Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson.
correct.
Because the only person that can truly, truly inspire you and hurt you, ikaw.
Yeah.
You are accepting what is said by you, or you are deflecting it, or you are motivating yourself. Oh, I got to work out. I'm going to work out for 2 hours today, and then I'm going to learn more of my communication skills. I'm going to walk for another hour. I'm going to reach out to Chi for speaking communication skills. When you are on the ball, and again, when you're tired, listen to your body. Right now, there's no race. Di ba, rat race palagi tayo before this pandemic. No, the rat race is what? Going to the bathroom, going to the kitchen, going on the Zoom, going to meetings. That's not very challenging, guys. But your thoughts, you need to be careful of your thoughts. The people
Yeah.
you surround yourself with. Yes.
Has the pandemic been has what major effect has it
Mm.
given you, because you're there to speak, to motivate, and to help
Yes.
people look at the good side in things. From what
Mm-mm.
I see right now, you are just overflowing in positivity. I just saw put my hand into whatever jar you're in and get some. And oh my God, people right now,
I'm
you have to
I'm
come
very
forward.
intentional, Chia. I also have my days. And I've surrounded myself with inspiring people who fill up my heart. So I reach out to them. Alam ko na kung sino yung mag-aano sa akin. Of course, my parents, my mom, that's my best friend, my husband. We are able to communicate our feelings, which is, the best thing ever. And my kids, you know, I'm very honest with them. They know what you see is what you get. Sometimes I'm TMI, too much information, you know. But that's the relationship I want to build with them, that they can have a relationship with their children. It's only now that I can really say everything to my parents.
Mhm.
Peace, mom and dad. But I don't want to wait till I'm 40 plus to be able to have transparency, right? And that's the thing. The youth right now, they also want to have transparency with their parents to understand them more. So me as a life coach too, I'm also mentoring a lot of the youth because they have a lot of responsibilities on their plate, but then they don't know how to put their hand up and say, I need help. So I am very intentional about that. I cry in front of my kids. I tell my friends that I think I need a breather. I tell my husband I need help. Can you help me with watching the kid? You have to be honest with yourself. Otherwise, ikaw lang ma-hurt eh. When you're not letting it out. So I've learned to, when you let it out, you can welcome more of the blessings. So
You are just overwhelmed. I love it. I love it. Because nowadays it's so easy to just focus on the negative. You can't go out,
yes,
talk to other people.
yes.
You have nowhere to go but inside yourself. And I think what
Mm-hmm.
you're saying is very important for all those people who are looking for inspiration or looking for just that ray of light to
Mm.
hold on to. Because if it's just, if it were just us to decide, it's all darkness, it's all beauty
Yes.
in black. There you go.
Mm-mm.
And so now you are you've maneuvered through this pageant life and have actually gained the better part of being a pageant queen. You are a motivational speaker, you are a personality development coach. One question here is, you are a sacred space holder. What does it mean?
Yes. So that's how I built my tools as a life coach. The biggest and best investment that I did during this pandemic last year was to join a program with the very first ever Filipino life coach, Kimi Lu, who has been a close friend of mine and my guidance for 8 years now. She launched her program, which is the Sacred Space holder, and that allowed me to train to be a well-being boost facilitator. So I do recommend everyone who is in need to, even if you're a leader already, to level up, because we always need to replenish our toolkit, diba? Or to relearn how we are, the person we are, how we got here. And it's a mix of meditation, just digging deep in your heart what you wanted to do in your life or what more you want to do, and how to treat others relationship wise. As a mom also, I'm able to mentor other moms on how to get through this online learning.
Mhm.
So that's another blessing in disguise that my family was granted to be homeschooled. Because otherwise, ako rin, I will go crazy with all these 6 children. All of a sudden, online sila, di ba? So I know that having the mentors or the people around me, including the program Sacred Space, it truly has lightened this challenging time for me. And again, you need to be intentional on what you need, right? I was a part of my family mentoring so many people, but I will also have a threshold. So how can I be better? How can I balance the daily grind? And for me it's 24/7. Kasi once I clock out from my business, my kids are waiting, right? Or my husband's waiting, or the kitchen's waiting, or the laundry's waiting. So you know what I mean? It's an ongoing cycle, and I have fun with it. Of course, in the Philippines, of course, I'm blessed with angels in my house. But at the end of the day, I am very intentional on making sure my kids survive on their own. So I have so many learnings to tell them. Six sila. So, that's like 30
Nakakaloka.
minutes each, an hour each. Or lahat kami right now, we're all watching a Filipino teleserye.
Yeah.
And that's very intentional on teaching them Tagalog. Diba? So,
Of course. So you've spent now like most of your life in the Philippines. What do you miss about Australia?
yes. Oh, the food. Oh, wait, no, scratch that. First and foremost, my family, of course. And then the food, because I love to eat, diba? And just, the nature, the beautiful city. I grew up there pretty much. I left Philippines when I was 6 years old and then left Sydney when I was 21. So the core period of my life of growth, I learned a lot there. And I'm just always grateful for that experience because my husband grew up in America, of course, different way of living then, and we learn from each other. Kahit yung mga words nga namin, oh, why do you say that? Why do you say lollies? Di ba candy? And it
Yeah.
makes it more interesting, di ba? For
Yeah.
me, I never have thought that I would marry an American, Filipino American. And it just makes our family more unique, I guess, because we have so much to learn from each other.
So you are now Filipino Australian American.
Somewhat. Somewhat. Because of my children. But regardless, Filipino at heart and always just, God's daughter. And the mission is all to be a motivation or a cheerleader for others.
And do you believe about people being global citizens?
Yes.
How
I
so?
believe that because we're all connected, regardless of our race, regardless of our color, we're humans. We were created by God for a reason to connect, to inspire, to empower, to motivate, and leave a legacy. Diba? Yan talaga yung sinasabi ng mga leaders. We're all leaders. We just need a support system.
Yeah.
And again, going back, super grateful for being granted the Miss World title. I had 108 girls that I got to know that I can call on if I visit their country.
Seriously, you
Oh,
can't
diba?
right now. You're still connected to them.
Yes. Oh, and Facebook happened, diba? So we got connected there. And just recently, during this pandemic, Miss World officially created groups,
Yeah.
Facebook private groups with all of us to stay connected in. So the possibility is endless. Again, it's going back to relationships.
Mhm.
You have to treat every single person with the same respect.
Yeah.
No matter their status.
Yeah. A very curious question. Miss World is a specific pageant that has a
Mm.
specific girl in mind.
Mm-mm.
So all of these pageants, they're not actually it's not actually one girl for all pageants. There's always a
Mm-mm.
different girl for each pageant. Do you train specifically just for Miss World, or are you open to train other people for other pageants?
Oh, all. Basta pageant, I am able to train them because the experience is the confidence, the in being independent, and at the same time knowing yourself well in certain situations. The beautiful beauty queen that crowned me,
Mhm,
Kate Manalo.
mhm.
She had a very challenging one because they were in South Africa and they had to escape during that time to go back to London. So you have
Oh,
to be ready
nice.
for those things. Something happened in South Africa. I think they had
A
um,
war?
something like that. And so they had to have the girls be safe.
Oh.
So apart from the competition, you have to think about all these things because yeah, you're on your own. Even regardless, you have people on your phone that can give you guidance. You will make your own decisions. Like for me, I was taught i-lock mo yung luggages mo, Mafe. Baka meron mawala, meron masira.
Mhm.
So that was also in the back of my head. Before I leave, nakalock, padlock lahat. I'd never hung anything. And luckily, my gown didn't need to be ironed, and I didn't have a national costume then, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Because we all
My
know the
makeup,
stories.
right. And it's true. It happens, as much as we don't want to believe it, it does happen the behind the scenes. So you have to take care of your own gamut, all your things, because they're all valuable. They're your tools. If for me as a tennis player, my tennis racket, my tennis shoes were my tools. Imagine as a beauty queen, shoes, gowns.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like even your undergarments are important. I sewed. I sewed my bikini because it was so thin that you'll see the headlights. So nilagay ko yung shoulder pads there so
Mhm.
that it will not, be like oh my gosh,
Too
Miss
much.
Philippines.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to learn
You have to be
those things
ready.
also.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You
And
have to
I'm
be on
again
your toes.
grateful for Binibini because they had all that ready for me. Shoulder pads, sewing kit, extra panty liner, as in the works. I did not have to go out to the hotel lobby store to buy anything. Andun na lahat.
Yeah,
But
this is
again,
like
mm,
the functional part of being a beauty queen. You have to know all of these things because, of course, for the lay
yes.
people, it's all beauty, glamorous, flowing hair,
Mm-hmm.
fabulous makeup, wonderful walks, which is now crazy. They've made it into a science. The
I
walk,
know.
pasarela, and all that. Aren't you just amazed how everything has
Yes.
changed through the years?
Mm-hmm. It's been amazing. I mean, again, the pageant fans and the pageant supporters are what's making, especially Miss Philippines, in a different level. We leveled up so much with the support that it shows in the girls. It shows how many crowns we can bring home to the Philippines. And even in the provinces, when I judge provincial pageants, grabe, chi, ang gagaling. I feel like, oh my gosh, this is Binibini. Feels like it was already Miss World or Miss Universe, Philippines. And if we've leveled up provincially, of course, we deserve to be on the global platform.
Yeah, we're
And it,
considered
it goes to
powerhouse.
it goes to show na kaya natin.
Yeah.
And one thing that I do want to share with future queens or even kings, know your history. Know your history in the pageant world because that's where you pay respects then. Like what you're saying, I was able to, help the future queens that uh, join Miss World. Ganun din, I always paid homage to my past queens because still without them, I wouldn't be known. Though, of course, I played my part. But through all the years, even Miss Gloria Diaz, I always see her sometimes before, the area that I would be in. And I always tell her, thank you. Kasi kung hindi siya nag-start, and even her story is so amazing. And how she mentioned to me, her parents didn't even know
That she
that she
was
won.
joining. On.
She had to call them on the landline. And her dad said, oh, nanalo ka ba? It's like, imagine that.
Yeah,
And she
yeah.
won our first title. So for all the young ones there, please understand history is that's why I love history. The subject history is because that's what makes us who we are now also.
And
And
that's very interesting and very powerful, I guess, especially now that two really big names
mm-mm.
are part of the history of Miss Philippines Australia. That's you and now
Yes.
Hannah. Oh my god. Of
Yes.
course there was Glyza too. So
Mm-mm.
it's very
Marami na.
interesting.
I'm just so happy. That's why I want to build it more. Because I know there's a lot of beautiful Filipinas in Australia that can
True, true.
also, represent that vibrant, Personality.
especially now that they've taken out height.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no more limit, right? For
Right.
especially this universe. So everyone who's watching right now who want to be beauty queens or who have children
Yes.
and who have
Uh-uh.
nieces or family members or who know somebody who can be a beauty queen, watch out. Miss Mafae is coming to town.
Yes, please. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, perfect. You brought that up. Our Miss Australia in the Miss Universe was she was one of the bets. She was the
Yeah.
one that they were eyeing,
Yes.
diba?
It's really.
And then going back to what I created online for Kumu. Never once did I ask for height or measurements,
Yeah.
because I wanted the true personality and the confidence.
That's also
And
one of the big changes, right? In pageantry. All right. Now, from pageantry, you are now creating something outside of that industry, and it's touching a lot of young people's lives with
mhm,
your Mafae management.
yes.
What have you done so far?
A lot. I mean, we specialize in brand awareness, so marketing and publicity, um, online and traditional. And also, I manage talents who need a voice,
Mhm.
need that shoulder to cry on, and also be their lawyer at the same time. Because when you're a talent manager, di ba, ikaw na yung negotiator,
Yes.
ikaw na yung motivator, life coach din sa talent. Na, hoy, be on time, you need to be disciplined, otherwise mawawala ka dito sa project nito. So I am grateful for the maternal instinct that I have. I think being a mom helped me. I've been so blessed to be able to even find amazing talents, brought them to the next level, and then okay lang, go for it. Kung kaya mo na, go for it. I always share with my talents and the people I work with is that I am able to empower you and build that confidence. And if you feel that you can do more with it, please, please go ahead and do that, because your success is my success. Yeah, seeing you just build your name or even your company or even your presence on inspiring others, I
Yeah.
know I did my job. You
Yeah.
know, okay na ako doon. I mean, that's the type of person I am. I help you move on. Same with me, right? If I can inspire your career in some way, then okay na ako doon. I mean, I'm not one of those managers like, boy, famous ka na, you need to sign with me for 25 years. Hindi. Because for me, I know my limit also,
Mhm.
you know?
All right. And where can they find you? For people who are
Yes.
interested, they want to talk to you, they want to get in touch with you. What are your what's your syntax?
Yes, yes, yes. So, like she and I, we were able to connect on LinkedIn. So, I am very active there, as well as the Kumu app. My account handle there is Mafae B, and it's the same on Instagram, Mafae B, and you can also find me on Facebook. My name, Mafae Yunon-Belasco. And if you want to collaborate, you want to be inspired, or just need that extra support, do reach out, say hi on Instagram, perhaps. And we can go on from there. So I look forward to future collaborations and just seeing other passions awaken.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, oh my God, I don't want to let you go.
Okay lang.
Oh my
We have
God,
so much in store for you guys, so just watch out because she and I will announce
this is
our
really
amazing
very
collabs.
inspiring. I before I and say goodbye, I want to give you a beauty pageant question.
Go.
I'm sure
I have never, I
ilang
haven't
beses ka na
retired from this, obviously.
ilang beses ka na nabiktima ng mga fans ng beauty pageant
Okay lang.
question, I'm sure. I want to ask you, in
Mm,
this time of uncertainty,
mm.
what do you think is the best mindset to get over this pandemic and see yourself on the other side?
Okay. And if you were a true fan, for the people who are tuned in, you know my answer back in 2003, and it's the same answer now. Have this motto in your life: time plus productivity equals success. because we have time. And if you use this time wisely to level yourself up by understanding who to reach out to, by knowing what your to-do list is or your goals in life, then it will be successful. Yun lang yun, guys. Write your list down and know that you're not alone. Understand that yes, this shall pass. But right now, stay present. Listen to your body. Reach out to people who will inspire you. Watch shows that will make you laugh. Listen to music that will make you relaxed. And watch this YouTube channel right here because you will be inspired regardless by the Strong Filipinas that will have amazing stories for you and of course our amazing host Chi. O di
Oh,
ba Chi? O ano na? Ano
bongga.
nang
I
score
love
ko?
it. Meron ako number dito, 10. 10. 10. Love it. Oh my God. I really hope that this pandemic blows over. We would want to have you back here in Australia
Yes.
and inspire other young women who want to travel, walk in your shoes, and probably well, I'm very sure that there's a lot of wisdom that you can show them and a lot of snappy things that they will be using in their pageant days, and a lot more people would want to talk to you to get more inspired, male,
Yes,
female,
please.
whatever, creatives. In behalf of our editor-in-chief, Michelle Baltazar, I
Yes,
am
thank you, Miss
very,
Michelle.
very, very, very OA times 100 thankful that I was able to talk to you today. You're a legend. You're a legend. You've made a really big name in pageantry, and you can see
Thank
how
you.
big an impact you are to me. Because right now, I'm also an aspiring pageant coach. Positivity equals possibilities. I guess that's the most
Yes, I love
common.
that, Chi. I love
Yes.
that.
So with that said, thank you very much, Mafae, and we all wish you the best. More projects and more success,
Yes.
and keep on inspiring all these people who are looking at you for guidance.
Thank
Thank
you.